to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another special message from the Ancient Ones. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, in your own story, and in a narrative that empowers you and disconnects you from the matrix, because, the matrix is, falling, and someone was like, it's not a matrix, it's a patrix. I mean, the words we're using now are code to get the sleepers. If you know it's a patrix, which means it's a patriarchal, all false system, it does make sense. That's well and good. But right now, beloveds, we're trying to get those who are asleep. So there's a lot of people who keep saying, don't use Africa, use, Al-Kabulan or whatever. How are we going to get the people who have no idea what Al-Kabulan is and have never even heard there's a different name for Africa? These are perilous times, beloveds. And for you who are awake, just thank your ancestors, thank your guardian angels, thank the Most High in you for the fact that you have been able to, because there are so many more that are still asleep that we're trying to, pull out of, the wickedness of the Babylon system. And the main message that was coming from the Ancient Ones is that they didn't get what they came for. As I keep saying, it was a spiritual invasion that happened on this melanated planet, this melanated home. And it's so much deeper, beloveds. It's so much deeper. But basically, these 7 continents that they say are not the only continents, and they were quarantined off to kind of contain this invasion from this foreign entity. And they came looking for secret knowledge. I mean, it's just like the you see in the sci-fi videos and all these superhero movies. It's not far from what they've been trying to do. They came to try and get certain powers and certain knowledge, because this is the one place where you have 4 major kingdoms meeting and all the nations within those kingdoms. So, Mama Earth is a very unique place, beloveds, because it's the meeting place of the fire nation, the earth nation, the air nation, and the water nation, and other nations that we don't even know about. It's become, all of them have kind of seeded, many wonderful things in this planet, buried many wonderful, powers in this planet, so that it could literally be like, a physical paradise, a physical mind-blowing literally experience. So the reason that Mama Earth was chosen to be hijacked, if we want to put it like that, is because of this uniqueness, the fact that all the nations, and then it's not just that, beloveds, it's that because there's the water nations have come, have the children of the water nation have incarnated here, the children of the fire nations have incarnated here. There are doorways and portals to every single one of these kingdoms, like the portal to their kingdoms, the portal to their nations, their worlds, their universe, which is another uniqueness of Earth. And so it was just like, if you get Mama Earth, you get everybody, because you can then get these portals and you can start penetrating these other worlds. And the portals are along the ley lines. We're right here on the equator at Mount Zion, at one of the major significant portals, beloveds, and there's many across the world. There's many gates to these kingdoms, and so that's been part of the invasion. It was to get the power that was put here and the keys that were put here, and then to try and penetrate into these other kingdoms to have this, grand conquest, etc., etc. But it didn't happen. It wasn't as simple as that. As I say, the ancient ones weren't stupid, the ancestors weren't stupid, and it's almost like we were allowed to go through this period of darkness. It was allowed to happen. It was foreseen, and once we get out of it, it will have, it will prove to be one of the most, you know, deeply profound experiences, because we are not of that vibration, beloveds. But because that vibration captured our minds through a very clever system, which I've talked about on this show endlessly, and altered our mental universe, and hijacked, literally the trickster hijacked our story and then just jipolsed in there, we've been able to experience something, like suspend ourselves and experience something we are vibing too high to experience. But now we're in the critical hour where many souls want to be free from the system, because the system is getting more wicked and sinister, and they didn't get what they came for. But what they did get is the minds of the people, because one of the things about the wicked one, whatever you want to call him, the Antichrist, Satan, whatever you want to call him, the devil, those are the keywords that many people will understand. What he uses is he uses human minds to achieve his agenda. He uses people to be his like spiritual and physical shield and to execute his thing. So he has the power. And with this whole artificial system that they've created, he now has the power to control millions and millions of minds and sway them this way and that way. And that's what he's planning to use for the final battle. But his time is already up. His time is already gone, beloveds. Like spiritually, it's over. You see, he thought there could be loopholes because of some of the universal laws that say as above, so below. So he thought if he conquers below, he'll get into the above. But it's much more complicated than that. He thought, if he harvested melanin and somehow used melanin, because melanin is one of the keys to get into some of these higher levels of, spiritual experience, spiritual power. So he thought if he harvested melanin, he could somehow trick the system. The system is untrickable, beloveds. The system cannot be jacked. It cannot be. What happened is that they got to control this physical plane for a while. And it really helped many who had incarnated at this time to kind of, discover dimensions of themselves that they would never have. But they didn't get what they came for, beloveds. Which is why as they go out, they're trying to go out with as many people as possible. Or they're trying to captivate as many people as possible, enslave as many people as possible, so that their energy can keep their artificial world going. Because each and every one of the royal priesthood has the power of a generator, has the power of a nuclear power plant. Let me just put it that, beyond a generator. So if they can just captivate the minds of the chosen, a few of them, of the specific melanated ones, because it's not, not all skin folk is kinfolk, can I say that? But this is a different meaning. But if they can just capture, the majority of the minds, even of the weak melanated ones, then they can keep this reality going indefinitely. But in terms of being on this solar melanated planet and trying to run things, that season is over, beloveds. But you'll only see it if you awaken your mind. That's where the real battle is going on right now. And they've done everything to prepare you and school you and program you so that they would have an upper hand at such a time as this. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to, the Dr. Mumbi Spiritual Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Special shout out to my Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us. Go ahead and consider supporting us for as little as $2 a month there. We are sharing some spiritual books, and there is, a much deeper spiritual conversation going there. So definitely consider that. We still do share one or two news articles, although as we say, Babylon has fallen, beloved. So it's no longer relevant what is going on in the world arena, because that is not what is determining and defining things anymore. It's only defining it's only defining the reality of the people who are still buying into it. But there's many, many other people who are charting their own lives right now. And, the spirit is moving, beloveds. The spirit of the ancestors, there's a whole grand orchestra, grand symphony playing out where people are feeling like they're doing things in their little silos, but they don't know that one day everything will connect and everything will make sense. And the special message from the ancient ones is that, Babylon, the enemy of our souls, they didn't get everything they came for. They did not acquire the certain powers that they were looking for. They didn't get the secret knowledge they were looking for. As I said in a previous episode, they are currently running this world on less than 7% of our sacred knowledge, even though they have over 90% of what they think, is our artifacts, the ones they found in our kingdoms, etc., etc. They're not even able to activate them, to use them, because it's all about spirit, beloveds. And as I said, spirit is not ignorant. So you can't command spirit the way you command a dog, It's an interaction, beloveds. And the spirit world is more real than the physical world. So whatever happens in the spirit world, it rules. And Babylon has done everything to try and control the physical world and manipulate the spiritual world from the physical world, because they can't get there. And the way they do that is through the predictive programming. So they'll release a video of the zombie apocalypse, because that's the scenario that they're trying to create with everything with the massive experiment that's going on right now. And many, many other things, So, but I think it's really important for us to rest assured that Babylon did not get everything. They didn't even get much, and they didn't get what they were looking for. And the window which they had to get that, to get what they were looking for is now closed. So the world is liberated. Humanity is free. But we're so deep in the muck that we have to work now on our own liberation, coming to terms with what has happened. Because what keeps us in a mental prison is the lie. The shackles are off, beloveds. The chains are gone. But enough damage has been done. And that's why I keep saying this is the season to really just come back to yourself and work on yourself, to get yourself out of the big cities so that you're no longer in the, Babylon story. You're no longer part of the Babylon fall. Many of our people, unfortunately, as it stands right now, who knows? We could have a massive revival to just, awakens billions of people. But as it stands right now, it's not looking good for many of our people, because they're believing the wrong story. They're so steeped in the lie, and the spirit has been so weakened that they can't even get out of the lie. Because everything the mind has been totally booby-trapped, beloveds. There's so many back doors and side doors. So, and that's what a lot of people who have been reaching out to me, I'm really sorry to call it a religious psychosis. Now people are actually it really is though, are reaching out to me and saying, it's hard. The guilt and the fear of, perpetual hell that you've been told since you were 2 and all these things. It's they booby trap your mind. So you walk out and you're okay, this is a story they made up to get me. And then, there's a side door open, to another philosophy that will take you right back. Because the disempowering was real. And you see, the liberation has happened, but the minds of the oppressed are still in the oppressor's hands. They're in the oppressor's system. And it is now those minds of the oppressed that are actually upholding the system and keeping the system going. And I mean, it's really important for us to have incredible compassion for our brothers and sisters who find themselves in this, because it's really not easy. And we also need to just step out of the way because there's so much confusion. Do what you have been called to do. Do what you can to raise up the collective, to communicate with the collective if that's the path that you've been given. But aside from that, really just focus on yourself, because there's so much to look forward to, beloveds, once this storm is over, and the storm will end. There's so much to look forward to. The spiritual rescue is happening in earnest, beloveds. We are on our way out, or they are on our way out, and we are on our way in. Our people are on their way in. But they've literally created us. They've come to the planet and created a slave race, a mentally enslaved race that they just may be able to now move with. So, beloveds, really, this is such a critical time. And there's an email I got. There's an interaction I was having with one of my sisters from Kenya. By the way, shout out to all the sisters that support me from Kenya, from the divided states, from the divided kingdom, from across Africa, South Africa, Zimbabwe. I love you all, seriously. Sisterhood, beloveds, it really is about us. The significant part of this rebuilding is about us, but those are stories for other days. And she was talking about how one of her friends was like, it's not about the diamonds in Africa. We are the diamonds. We are the gold. We are the rubies. If you remove the melanated people from Africa, best believe the gold, the silver, the coltan, the rubies, the emeralds, the tanzanites would disappear just like that. And that's why we're still alive on the continent. And that's why we didn't go the North American way, where they just decimated everyone. Because we are the key to Zion, beloveds. And that key cannot be coerced. They can't coerce us to use it. They can't manipulate us to use it. They've tried everything and it hasn't worked. And that's the main message you should just rest assured. And I really hope that this is a confirmation for many. They tried everything, but they didn't get what they came for. And now their time is up. So it's time also for you to remove them from the mental occupation that they've been able to have on your mind. Because it's time. Until next time. Tuko pamoja.